Welcome to the Fathering Strong podcast, where we connect, engage, and empower fathers to be the best dads they can be for their families and communities. And now, your hosts are Bruce Stapleton and Pastor Eli Williams.
Well, hello. Welcome to the Fathering Strong podcast. Thanks for joining us today. Hello, I'm Bruce Stapleton, father, grandfather, and as I mentioned last week, I have a new daughter-in-law. So,
congratulations and welcome, everybody. I am Eli Williams. I am also a husband and a father, a grandfather. I'm an author of the book Fathering or Father Love. I'm a pastor of New Hope Church in Springfield, Ohio, and president of Urban Light Ministries. We are the nonprofit that powers Fathering Strong. It's great to have you along today.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Pops, meeting of Pops. Every child needs a love of a Pops. And one of our programs that we have in Fathering Strong is Pops 101. It's one of the courses we have, which has the acronym POPS, which stands for Protectors, Order Keepers, Providers, and Stabilizers. And today we're going to dive in a little bit into what the father can do to be a child's protector. But before we get into the subject, just wanted to, Eli, talk a little bit about what happened this last weekend with Father Fest and Juneteenth. I know with the Good Dad Award, we always present that every year. This year we had 62 participants, or recipients, I guess is what we call them, that were honored as Good Dad Award winners. So tell us a little bit about the history of that and sort of what your thoughts were on that. I thought that was a great event this weekend.
Yeah, it was really exciting to see how it has grown over the years. Just to kind of set the stage here for it, in our community, for years, we were having the Juneteenth celebration, which has been going on for 17 years now. And then the Father Fest event, which started in 2011, they were happening on the same day at the same time. Neither one of us knew it. When we found out and realized that we're actually dividing the community and people having to choose one or the other, we decided that it would just make sense to combine the events. Now, this was obviously long before Juneteenth became a national holiday. It was being celebrated here. And so since that time, and I think it's been about 6 years now, we've had a combined Juneteenth festival and Father Fest. And during Father Fest, we present the Good Dad Award. Now, the Good Dad Award is just a way for you as an individual to honor a father in your life, someone you know. It could be your brother, it could be your dad, or it could be your son, kind of depending upon how old you are. Any father in the community who's doing a good job as a dad, based on the criteria that is set, you can nominate them to receive recognition by getting one of these Good Dad Awards, which we time out to be presented on the day before Father's Day every year at this event. So it has really grown, and now, as Bruce was just saying, we're up to over 60, and not all of them are local, because the award actually is open to anyone. You can, wherever you're watching this, you can actually go online right now and nominate a father for a Good Dad Award, no matter where you are in the world, and we will send him a certificate which acknowledges and officially recognizes the good work that he is doing as a dad. So it was a really good event. We're happy that it is growing the way that it is. People are recognizing the need to lift up and hold up to the light those fathers who are doing a great job with their kids, for other fathers to see. That's what it looks like. So many of us grew up without dads. I grew up with a dad, but so many men grew up without a dad. So many women were little girls growing up without a dad. And so it's good to be able to show them, here is what a good dad looks like, and he lives down the street. So that's the idea behind it. Bruce did an excellent job helping to promote it this year. Thank you for that. and we see the results. We look to even grow bigger next year.
Yeah, we just now the 2025 one is now live on the urbanlight.org website, so people can go in and nominate. And then I don't think you want to forget one of the features this year is we actually had a nominee from John Legend, who sort of did a congratulations, online video for us, congratulating his dad for being a Good Dad Award. So it was nice having
Yeah,
John Legend support the Good Dad Award.
that was really special. That was really special. So, yeah, we're looking forward to grow. I envision the day when it becomes national, maybe even global. Why, let's think big. How about universal?
Well, we did have a couple from Africa and British Columbia this year, so we're
Yes, we did.
getting it out there. So well, good. Well, thanks for updating. I just thought that was good to talk about because as Father's Day just came by, and the success we've had with the Good Dad Award. I just wanted people to know about that and can feel if they feel that way about their dad, feel free to nominate them as well on the Urban Light site. So
Absolutely.
okay. Well, good. Well, let's get
So,
into the discussion
yeah,
on
yeah.
POPs and the child protector. Your blog this week had some really good points in regards to how a father needs to be a protector for a child. So why don't you sort of get us going on what some of the key topics were that you talked about in your blog this week?
Yeah, like you said, POPS is an acronym, POPS. The P stands for protectors. Then there's order keepers, providers, and stabilizers. And in today's episode, let's talk about dad as protector. What does that look like? What does it mean for a father to be a protector? It is our God given responsibility. We were placed here on this earth to be a father to our children, and that entails and includes being a protector. We want our homes and the neighborhood that we live in. We want the schools that our children go to be safe places. And that requires our participation. It requires our being involved. It requires our being present. Now, the Creator has given within us, he has made sure that in our DNA is this instinct to be a protector, to be a guardian of our children. And every child needs that, to have that secure feeling that they have a dad who is there loving them and watching over them, and it makes them feel safe. Of course, women have an intense instinct as well to protect her children. This is not about men over women, it's about both. Children need both. So, yes, mothers are protectors, but fathers are protectors, father style. Even in the animal kingdom, we see that males play a role in keeping their young ones safe. The silverback gorillas, now that they're called families, just like humans are, they have they have males among the silverbacks who are very strong guardians, as well as lions. Lion prides have strong males. They're bigger. Uh, their roar probably is roarier. I just made up a word, didn't I? More frightening. Uh, and although the female lions go out and do the majority of the hunting, it is the males who defend the pride from outside danger. So both the males and the females play a role in this, but it is the males who are the protectors. So they've got this strong drive to watch over their young ones, to make sure that they are guarding their pride from the dangers that exist, even from other lions. It's important,
Yeah,
and God has placed that instinct within them.
and the instinct I think is still just as intense in humans as well. If you look in the YouTube short videos or Facebook, I'm sure you've seen the ones where the dad pulling the kid off the swing before he falls off, or pulls him out in front
Right.
of the car, or all those little shorts talking about dads using that instinct. And I know you talked about it in your blog this week about Dustin Elick from Colorado, who was on trip with his family, and a mountain lion came in front of him and was going to attack his child, and he jumped in front and took control over the situation, and obviously got attacked himself through the process of that. But I think his bravery gave his wife time to grab the kids and get them to safety. And I know us as dads, that's just an instinct. We don't think about it. We just do it because we know that's got to be important to the safety of our kids. So I know that was an important story in your blog post this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real story that actually happened. It was in 2019. The reports of that gained national attention, and really, it just, as you said, Bruce, it highlights the fact that we males have this instinct within us, and it's strong, and we'll go to incredible lengths to protect our children. So, just think about when dad is not there, when children don't have a dad, then that is missing from that child's life. So it's important, fathers, that we are there and that we are around our children as much as possible, so that we are available to be there to run interference should any mountain lions jump onto the path. Of course, most of us don't have to be concerned about mountain lions, but there are plenty of other dangers that our children face in this world. And we'll talk about some of those as we move forward in our conversation.
Yeah, and that's right. It begins at home. And I know we talk about through Fathering Strong and all the different promotions and things we talk about is fathers not only build stronger families, but stronger communities. And I think that protection piece really fits into that whole discussion. So, yeah, and as you said, we'll get more on that as we go through this, but let's take a short break and then we'll come back.
We dads and father figures need each other. We need a safe, non-judgmental place to share our stories, challenges, heartaches, and joys. Fathering Strong is just such a place. A new online community of connected, engaged, and empowered fathers. Learn more at www.fatheringstrong.com.
Welcome back to the Fathering Strong podcast. And this week, we're discussing fathers as protectors and the importance of being present. And according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, kids with live-at-home fathers are less likely to be abused.
Yeah, that's right. We fathers are responsible for working with our children's mother to ensure that our children's physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual safety are there. And the best way to do that is by living with them. Of course, we know not everyone is in that situation. There are many, many families where the mother and father do not live together, but even live-away dads still have the responsibility to be their children's protector. And of course, I don't really even have to say that. Most fathers know that, and they want to be that for their children. So I just want to encourage you, fathers out there, that and you mothers who may be listening, to make a pathway. Be a gateway, not a gatekeeper that keeps the kid's biological father out, but a gateway that welcomes him to come in and be a part of those children's lives and to help you to be the protector that your children need. And it's better when there are two.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. I caught that in your talk on Saturday, when you talked about, the importance of fathers, but then you got into how important it was for even the fathers that don't live, with the children to be there and be present. And then I thought it was interesting in regards to how you talked about the biological father, how important it was for them to be involved in their child's life, and how you really encourage the moms out there to build that relationship and at least make sure that the biological father had time with their children to build that bond. So I thought that was interesting that you talked about in your talk on Saturday.
Yeah, I found, even in my own work with families, that there are so many adults who have grown up without their biological fathers, and they have this ache on the inside of them, this yearning for a relationship with a biological father that they never knew. And some of them go to great lengths to locate their biological father. Now, this does not mean that they weren't raised well with a stepfather or a relative or some other male who was in their lives and took the place of their biological dad, but still there's that need, there's that yearning, there's that longing to know who their biological father is and want to be a part, not necessarily a part of his life, but at least want to know who he is, where they've come from, and to get their questions answered, like, why weren't you there? So I've also seen the problem that occurs when a mother has sort of alienated the biological father from their children's lives, and how that comes back to bite that mother. Because now the children are angry with the mother because she deprived them of the opportunity to have a relationship with their biological father. So there are all sorts of reasons why it's important for the biological father, and the same would be true in the case of a biological mother who is not in the children's lives growing up. It's important that children know who their family are, because it extends beyond that parent to the grandparents on that side, the uncles and aunts and cousins who they never got to know growing up. So again, just a little bit more on that. It is extremely important that both parents are in the child's life whenever the circumstances will allow that. So getting back to this idea of protection, the biological father needs to be present in order to help his child be safe from family violence. So many times there is violence in the home, to the tune of 10 million children per year exposed to family violence every year. And unfortunately, it's often the boyfriend of the mother, sometimes the mother herself, and tragically, even sometimes the biological father. So children are growing up terrorized in their own home in too many cases. This should not be. It's up to us dads to make sure we are taking the lead, to make sure our children are not living in fear in their own home. So as we talk about family violence, it would just be malpractice not to point out that there is help available. Perhaps there's someone watching this and you are a father and you know you have some violent tendencies. Let me just say to you, get some help. Get some help. I mean, don't be a part of the problem, right? If you have inclinations to respond violently to your children or to anyone really, especially those in your home, there are some things you can do to get help for that. And we want to encourage you as strongly as we can to get that help. Because your children and your children's mother deserve to live fear-free. I mean, particularly to live without having to be afraid of their own father, their own husband, or the father of their children. It's not good for you, and it certainly isn't good for them. And on the other side of this break, we're going to give you some suggestions, some tips, some things you can do to reach out for help if you happen to have any violent inclinations, and also information that you could pass on to another man that you know that might be struggling with this. Stay with us.
Do you know a new father who could benefit from a basic introduction to healthy fathering principles? Pops 101, a free online course consisting of 4 one-hour sessions in English or Spanish could be perfect for him. Pops 101 lays out practical steps toward becoming the protector, order keeper, provider, and stabilizer his child needs. Learn more at urbanlight.org.
Welcome back to the Fathering Strong podcast, and we've been discussing about how to be a protector as a father. And the last promotion we just put out there talked about our Pops 101 class, which is if you're looking for ways to do that as a part of Fathering Strong, it's a free resource that you can have access to. So don't hesitate to reach out to that resource if that could be helpful to you as well, talking about the different acronyms that we talked about with protection, order keeper, provider, and stabilizer. So and if there's even a slightest risk of your child needing protection from you, then as Eli just talked about earlier, there are things that we urge you to do right away, and that's to get the help that you need to be a better dad to your kids.
Absolutely. And we want to encourage you to contact a crisis hotline. Most communities have these. If you live in the U.S., you can talk to a trained professional 24/7. Just search online, crisis hotline, and then put in your location. And you'll be put in touch with someone that you can talk to confidentially. Or you can contact a therapist on your own or a counselor. If you have a family physician, a personal physician, talk to your doctor. It could be that there's something going on physically with you that could give you violent tendencies, and your physician will be able to diagnose that and then treat you. And that certainly is a good place to start. Or perhaps you have a pastor who is a spiritual advisor to you. Reach out to him or her, and just be honest and share with them what you're feeling, how you sometimes respond to things, and get some help. You need it, and certainly those closest to you need it. There may be an anger management program that you'd be comfortable being a participant in. Certainly do that. If you just want something kind of less formal, less clinical, you can always join Fathering Strong. There may be a group that you fit in well with, a private group where you can share and at least have some listening ears that you can trust will keep things confidential to help you as you recover from whatever it is that may be causing you to be a potential problem for your children and others in your life. Get some help. Reach out for it. You won't regret it. You'll be glad you did.
Yeah, Eli, I think one of the things I always like that you say when we talk about dads is there is no perfect dad. There is no perfect father. And I think that's hard for us as dads to sort of put ourselves out there sometimes because we feel like, we're the ones that are not doing a good job and everybody else is. And I think if everybody realizes that there are no perfect fathers out there, we all need help. That makes it a little bit easier to, get involved and get the help you need. Be patient with the process. I think there are plenty of fathers on Fathering Strong who are looking for help and are willing to provide help. It's good to talk to find out that you're not the only one out there that, has issues. And so I think it's just, get involved, put yourself out there, try to get with some other fathers who are dealing with similar issues and, hopefully get some of those things resolved and be just committed to your goals to being a better dad.
Absolutely. So those are some things you can do to protect your child at home. But as fathers, we're also responsible for our children's safety and well-being outside the home. So again, though, being present looms large. It's important that we are there. If we're not there, we can be of very little help when it comes to being a protector. So in order to be involved, we need to be present. And that applies to whether we're talking about in the neighborhood, That means, being on the playground, with your kids, not interfering, just keeping an eye, being watchful of what's going on in your neighborhood that could perhaps make it an unsafe place for your children. That goes to your child's school. It's okay as the dad to drop in once in a while, to see what goes on during the school day, whether it's before school or during school or after school, just to kind of monitor things to see how it's going. It's okay, and most administrators that I know welcome this. They're actually happy when fathers are present in the building on the campus because they know that it adds a level of safety, and it also is good for the kids to see men who are interested in them, are interested in their education, and concerned about their welfare. It's a win-win for dads to be involved. And we talked about this on another episode, but there are actually organized groups of fathers who work together, who coordinate, who have a schedule of when they're going to be in the building, just to make sure that at most times during the school day and before and after, that there is a dad there to to just be around, to be that extra set of eyes, um, watching out for the well-being of the children in that school. It also is important for us dads to know our children's teachers, know them. Go to the parent-teacher conferences for sure, but know them on a first name basis and make sure that they know you, and that you're interested in their children, and not only in your children, but not only your children, but all the children in the school. Be aware of who your kids' friends are. And in most cases, likely, your kids' friends are not a danger to them, but you never know what influence they might have. And sometimes influence is not good on your child. All of us, probably every guy listening, knows that growing up, not every kid is the best friend to have, because they may be coming from homes and situations where there's drugs and other things that go on, and some influences even from our kids' friends are not healthy. So know who they are. Um, that can sometimes mean knowing who their parents are. Why? Because you're concerned that you want to make sure that your child is not being exposed to influences that are not going to be good for them. Dads, we have to know where our kids are. We have to be aware of their whereabouts, who they're with, what they're doing, and of course, this applies online. Know what they're doing online. There's just so much danger there. And I was just watching the news yesterday, and it was announced that the Surgeon General is asking Congress to pass a law that there be warnings on the internet, just like there is on cigarettes, saying that that there are dangers there for children under a certain age, and that you should be, mindful of that. So isn't that something, Bruce? We're gonna have warnings on apps and on websites, alerting parents and alerting children that this is a dangerous thing you're about to do. Uh, I think that's a sign of where we are in the world. And we dads, we need to be sure that we are aware of what our kids are doing online. It's not just the mother's um, responsibility, but it's ours as well. And then there's so much child abuse and child trafficking going on. Not to be alarmist, but it's just the fact that there are people out there who are up to no good, and some of them want to traffic in children. So it's important for us dads to make sure that we talk to our kids um, about their own personal safety, about how to be, cognizant of the fact that they need to guard their own privacy, that they should say no to anything that makes them feel uncomfortable, any kind of touch from an adult, even if it's an adult that they know. There are some things that are out of bounds, and kids need to know what those boundaries are. All of those are ways in which dads are protectors, and there's a whole lot more. We can't cover it all, but those are a few of the things that we dads can do to be our children's protectors.
Yeah, and I think, as you mentioned, it's sort of walking a tightrope sometime as a father, because the kids think they're talking to someone on Facebook or social media that they're really not, and they're just too naive. And you've got to be there and be their protector and help them understand that, and give them that information and guidance.
Absolutely.
And hopefully they'll understand one day, even though they may not when you are searching their social media that day. But as they grow up, they'll learn the different things. So. Well, that was good. I think it's a good topic, and it's the first one we'll begin on talking about our POPS program. And once again, check out POPS 101 if you're interested in learning more, and take a look at this week's blog. That's all the time we have for today, but we'll continually post more information on this topic, and we'll talk more about being protectors and order keepers in podcasts coming forward. So.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We really do appreciate it. As Bruce was saying, there's more helpful content available for dads. Just subscribe to my Fathering Strong weekly blog post. This week, we are featuring this topic, and there's more information there that we think could be helpful to you. So check it out at urbanlight.org.
And next week, we'll continue the series entitled Being Pops, and we'll consider what it means to be an order keeper. So that's going to be on next week's edition of the Fathering Strong podcast. So join us.
Yeah. And we'll leave you with this final thought. God really values children. He loves children, and he wants them protected and will avenge those who abuse children. There are many scriptures that I could cite for you, but I chose this one. It is from Matthew 18:6. It's the words of Jesus, and he gave this warning. He said, and I'm quoting, "But whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck and he were drowned in the depths of the sea." End quote. That's pretty serious. Matthew 18:6. We want to be sure that we don't put ourselves in some real danger from being avenged or having children avenged by God because of something we have done or said or failed to do to abuse children. It's our responsibility as pops to be our children's protectors. So we leave you with that, and we pray that the Lord blesses you as you give your child what no one else on earth can, and that is your fully developed father love. That's Fathering Strong.
The Fathering Strong podcast is a production of Urban Light Ministries with technical assistance from the Momentum Group, and Harold Rayford provides the theme music. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Fathering Strong is powered by Urban Light Ministries, a not-for-profit organization serving the needs of families and children for nearly 30 years. Your support helps us continue turning the hearts of fathers to their children while meeting some of the immediate critical needs of struggling families with small children. Contributions of all sizes are welcomed at www.urbanlight.org.